Hello and welcome to Real Estate 360. This is Steve Connolly and
this is Jason O. Myles, hashtag the real estate trainer. What's going on, everybody?
man,
How you feeling, Steve?
I feel fantastic. Hey, we're going to be doing this new Zoom video conferencing thing, and I can see right now that we're going to be learning this as we go because this is our first one. And so it's a little bit more difficult to see the cues from you and me. But by the way, I'm unemployable, especially now. you know,
hey, it's a tough world out there, man, but what are we going to do?
I know it.
I mean, just recently, we did the State of the Union address, the state of real estate, basically, right? And, we talked about what our forecast was, but then boom, here we are. We're hit by something that is totally unforeseen, out of our control. There's nothing we can do about it, but kind of ride the wave, right? So now we have a bunch of people at home, shut in, trying to figure out what to do. Netflix stock is going through the roof, as it should, right? I mean, the weird part about that is after so long, there's really nothing left to watch. You've binge watched everything that you found interesting, and then you find yourself just watching stuff. And like me, I'm just wandering the halls, up and down the halls, and making telephone calls and sending emails, waiting for responses. It's weird, man.
People are calling me and saying, what are you doing? And I said, I am looking for the benefit in all of this upheaval.
Yeah.
And actually, I wrote a little belief idea this morning. It says, can you find the benefit in really pretty much any set of circumstances?
Yeah.
And while this coronavirus thing looks kind of negative, right? Especially if you're watching, what do you call it? CNN? What do you call that?
CLN, the Chicken Little Network.
Why do you, just for those people who don't understand, why do you call it the Chicken Little Network?
Because the sky's always falling on that channel. I mean, if you look at that channel, you think that literally the end of the world is here, not on its way. It's already here.
Yeah.
And if you want to be scared, just turn on the CLN network.
Right.
If you just want to be scared, it's the best horror movie on television right now.
Yeah.
24/7.
You know what I call it. and I've always called it CNN, the constant negative news network. And, everything's wrong all the time, 24/7.
And it's always someone's fault. You know what? Right now, it doesn't matter whose fault it is. If there's someone to blame, let's get on the other side of this thing and then start, looking at what that looks like. But right now, we all have to be on the same page. And having this constant divide is not going to get us anywhere fast. We'll be stuck in the exact same place for a longer period of time than we actually have to. So I think it's just imperative right now that we all focus on truly what we need to do, not who's wrong, not who's right, but what we need to do collectively to get on the other side of this thing. Because the reality of it is there's going to be a new normal for us, at least for the next year and a half. Minimum.
May I make a comment on that?
Oh, please do.
One of the positives that could come out of this, depending on what each individual is looking for. Yeah. Hey, cheers. Here's mine. It's Earl Grey.
Earl Grey. I'm just drinking Nestle water.
Yeah. Okay. So looking for the benefit, here's one idea, that people could entertain, is that this coronavirus is just something that is going to shift us into maybe something of a utopian society. A lot of our focuses have changed, just in the last several weeks.
Yeah.
To, constantly running and doing all the things, the stuff you have to do every day to Well, in some cases, just wandering the halls.
Yeah. I mean, and I mean, really, that's just what it is. We have to understand. I mean, there is going to be opportunity. There's opportunity now, albeit slow,
Yeah.
but we've seen these, not this kind of thing, but we've seen economically these kinds of things in our lifetime, 10 years
Sure.
ago, 12 years ago. And we know what's going to be coming on the other side of this. It's just that everything is moving at hyper speed right now. We're going to see people that are going to be behind in their mortgages, that maybe got a forbearance or maybe didn't. They had to forgive a payment or two forgiven, but they've got to make this lump sum payment in 3 months or 4 months, and they're not going to be able to do it. We're going to see people that have been trying to sell their houses, trying to get the top dollar, even from the wholesale perspective, where they weren't able to do it. Now they have to sell it. So there's still opportunity. I mean, there's banks that are still lending money. And that's what I think our listeners need to focus on right now. Go out and create some relationships. And when I say go out, I don't mean go to a networking event. Obviously, that's not occurring. But get on the phone, send out emails, look for private lenders, look for small, hard money lenders that have the fortitude to navigate their way through this kind of a situation. Because there's a lot of people out there that understand what to do. There's a lot of money that's sitting on the sidelines right now. And you have to be able to tap into it, develop a relationship, and say, hey, listen, on the other side of this, I want to go and buy, these kinds of properties because they're going to be out there and I want to be in the forefront. And then go do it. But prepare yourself today for what's going to happen in 2, 3 months or however long it's going to be.
Yeah. This economy that we're approaching, or that we're really deep into at the moment, is kind of the beginning of the curve of like a deflationary real estate valuation.
Yeah.
And I liken it to computer sales, computer component sales, where your memory's always getting bigger, and the prices are staying the same or going down. And the key to being in business in that is managing the inventory and the flow, because if you don't sell all your stuff this month, next month they're cheaper and there's more memory and you're stuck with the old inventory. Same thing with real estate.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
I,
that's just where we are.
yeah, exactly. And I have a couple of very specific strategies that I'm going to be employing, and that you're going to be employing to go through this particular process. And of course, it's somewhat about marketing, because you got to find those people who are wanting to sell, needing to sell, and helping them solve that problem, whatever that means.
That's right. And marketing is going to be a little different now. I mean, it's going to be a, a lot of the same, but the way you go about it on the back end is a little bit different. You're going to have to virtually wholesale now. You're going to have to rely on information, second and sometimes even third party information, especially visual stuff. You're just going to have to do these things. And, there's going to be a lot more internet marketing associated with this, because we're going to have more and more people focused now on their social media pages because they're going to be bored sitting at home.
Yeah.
It is what it is. So we have to adjust what we do, is all I'm saying.
And just because, everyone's quote unquote sitting at home doesn't mean things aren't happening, because they are happening. And I was talking to a gentleman yesterday, and he was saying that the large developers are just moving along just like nothing's going on.
Yeah.
He mentioned a couple of them that had, 300 buildable lots for townhouses, that he said, hey man, I got builders already that have already bought them all.
Yeah.
And lenders that are lending on those. So even though, you or me or somebody else might not be doing something, doesn't mean that the whole world's standing still. It just kind of looks that way.
That's correct. I
Yeah.
mean, and the reality of that is knowing that there is going to be an economic shift at the end of this as well. We're going to we really have to pay attention to the haves and have-nots, because right now the haves are really just gobbling up everything. I mean, look at Amazon right now, and Walmart right now. I mean, they're just gobbling up everything while small businesses are shutting down because
Right.
they have no other choice. The commercial real estate market on that level is really dead. You have lenders that are just pulling back. They're suspending their lending right now. And everybody's trying to figure out, is there a difference now between your single family, your regular loans and your commercial loans, as far as can we get a forbearance? Can we get you to slow up on our rent while we go through this? We have a viable business here. But it's a lot more difficult for the mom and pops to make it through this kind of thing for so many reasons. So we just have to start shifting, as you say, our mind into what is actually going to work. Where do we go from here? What are we going to do now, Steve?
Right. Well, we're going to find the problems. We're going to solve them. People still need houses.
Mm,
So to me, we're going to bridge the gap a little bit and bring people that want to get rid of their stuff and bring it to people who want to buy it.
that's right.
Just because they want to get rid of it doesn't mean somebody else doesn't want it.
That's exactly right.
Which is really no different than what we've done before. But I'm going to suggest we're not going to we don't want to get too involved in the complete renovation projects. We're looking for the fluff and buff, do a little cleanup on something, turn it around really quick, and bring people they can afford to make the payments or buy the house, whatever it is. Maybe they have their financing. FHA, VA, they're loosening their guidelines to get people through this process. So there'll be money available. Absolutely.
So basically, we're just going to knock the ugly off of it and get right back to it.
Absolutely. Yeah,
right.
That's my favorite saying.
I love it. Scott's right on time with that one. But hey, Steve, let's take a quick break.
We'll buy your house. Click 833willbuy.com. That's 833WELLBUY.com.
Or call 833-WILL-BUY.
Se habla español. Llámanos. Call us today.
And we are back. What's up, Steve?
Oh, it's just another beautiful day. People are hunkered down inside. And you know what? I would suggest you get out of the house and walk around and realize that, look, the sun is still in the sky,
That's right.
And people are still out there. And if you look around, if you're in the real estate business, you know what? The houses are still there.
That's right.
Everything is still in place.
And Steve, we still have active contracts for properties that we're looking to buy, for properties that we're selling, for properties that we're refinancing. I mean, we've had to kind of sidestep, move laterally in some ways, but things are still moving. Things are still moving, as you said before, and it's really about us mentally saying, I got to live my life. And how am I going to do that? Obviously, you're not going to be reckless, but you still have to live. And you can't worry about where your next roll of toilet paper is going to be coming from.
No, please. I was talking about that, and I said, hey, instead of buying, $30 worth of toilet paper, get on Amazon. I'm not necessarily pushing Amazon, but they have a pretty cool bidet you can buy for about $35. And, you can cut your toilet paper usage by, 75% if that's your concern.
There are always options, right?
I bought one, a year and a half ago because I said, wow, this is pretty cool. It's retrofit. You put it on, and you just look, if you're any kind of a handyman whatsoever, and I'm pretty good actually. So I just hooked it up to my, plumbing, and there we go.
This message provided by Steve's Bidet Services.
I will come out and install it, but it's going to cost you.
You are the consummate salesman, sir. I love it, man. When in doubt, just call Steve. He'll figure out something for you to sell.
No doubt. There's
Hey,
always something out there, And I've been getting, I like to keep a little cash on hand, because somebody might come to me and say, "Hey, I got to get this car gone," and
yeah,
I, but I have to admit, I was doing this furniture thing, and I don't want to get us off real estate too much, but it's the same. It's all the same thing,
yeah,
It's buy it, add value to it, or just recognize the value, turn around and sell it.
that's right.
And but real estate just has a bunch more numbers behind it, zeros.
Yeah, just add a zero.
And then
Hashtag add a zero.
and then there's the multifamily. Yeah, hashtag add 2 or 3 more zeros.
That's right.
And there you go. And that's what we're doing. That's all.
That's Steve, I got to say, this is good. Now, well, we've got lenders on our commercial side that have suspended lending right now, or just said, hey, we're going to reevaluate this deal. But we also, as I mentioned in the first segment, we have lenders that are, the Warren Buffett thinkers, right? They're like, hey, when there's blood in the streets, buy, right? And we're going to pay a little higher interest rate, but we're going to get speed in those cases. We're looking at an opportunity right now where there is a property, a multifamily, that we can acquire for almost 50 cents on the dollar.
Yeah.
And it is amazing.
That's not even the best part.
And what is the best part?
The best part is it's fully leased with one government lease that's guaranteed income for the next 8 years.
That's correct. Right? That is correct. 7 years. Well, 7 and change. But yeah, I mean, that obviously is a very, very good thing. So when we're looking at a deal like that, I mean, this is a rare opportunity, first of all. But when we're looking at a deal like that, well, let's take away for a second the government contract. Obviously, that's a selling point, right?
Yeah.
But to get, everybody's not going to find one of those deals, though. I mean, that's a very difficult deal to find because there are only so many of them, and most people that own them don't sell them. But the deal itself, we're looking at someone who's in need. They have to sell a deal. They have to sell. They do not want to refinance. They're not passionate about what they're doing. The owner, it's an owner operator who's way more interested in doing something else with his time and life than manage this particular property. It's not what he does. He's not an operator. So as we are seeing these downturns in the market, we're seeing people, again, as I mentioned before, that have to sell. They do not want to find a way to navigate through this kind of thing. They just want out. They just want to be done. And enter you and I. Boom. We make a deal. We find some private money, some quick money, and we get them in and we get them out. And then, we're in our bridge loan or our mezzanine financing, as they like to call it, on this side of the equation. And it's making money, and we're making money, and all we have to do is wait our way through this process of what we're going through currently in our economy, so that we can, do a cash out refinance or sell it. And that's the property that we'll probably own for 5 years. We're going to get a huge benefit from the taxes of what we pay for it, the cost segregation aspect of it, and we just cruise right on through. And I don't want to make it sound all simple and easy. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that we've got to do to navigate our way through this, but we all, every one of us that are either talking or listening to this show right now, have an opportunity to go out right now, if you want to make money in real estate, and start finding deals. Just start looking.
The way to learn how to do this, and sometimes I might be reminding old time investors as well.
Oh yeah,
is just to go out and look at this stuff. My favorite thing is to get 100 properties on my desk and just flip through all of them and look at the salient information, which is the price, the square footage, the cash flow, the amount of repairs, the location. Those are the key items right there. you know those 5 items, you pretty much can determine a value. And you don't even have to know the values. If the 100 pieces of paper on your desk represent 100 pieces of property in that particular area, you don't need to know what the value is in that area. All you need to know is, in this stack of papers, which is the best looking one.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Oh, absolutely.
So, you find the one that's the largest, that needs the least amount of repairs for the lowest price in that area. And so you flip through and you find, oh, look, here are the 5 best ones. Okay. Those are the ones you go look at. And then I take those 5 and I'll sort those out. And I find, okay, wow, this is the best one. Now, I used to, when I first started, I used to just get like 20 of them. I'd go look at all 20, kind of based on the geographic logistics, which means which one's the closest to me. And I just would go look at a line of them, not considering that, okay, this one is the best one. Maybe I should go look at that one first. I didn't do that. And by the time I got there, which might have been, I started at 9 o'clock and by 5 o'clock, that one was already under contract. So I said, wait a minute, this isn't working. I think I need to go look at these best looking ones first and do it in that way and, sort that way. And all of a sudden my under contract ratios went up considerably because, hey, I could see which one to look at, and I would go look at those first and confirm or find out, hey, you know what? This is not really what I thought it looked like when I saw it on this piece of paper. By the time, maybe some time had gone by from the photos, and by the time I got there, it was a burnout. I don't know.
Yeah. So one of the things that that I'm doing right now, Steve, because of all the social distancing and all the stuff that we need to do, is I'm asking the seller or someone else, just some other party, to go and take pictures and or video of the property, around the outside, through the inside, so that we can get a look at it without actually having to go there. And now, of course, we have a city that's on lockdown, so we can be fined $1,000 and potentially go to jail for being in places we're not supposed to be right now. So it's imperative that we know what we need to do. You as a wholesaler, as a buyer, Steve is telling you all the right things. The only little change that you need to make is how you're going to gather this visual information. Have the owner who has the right to be at their property, if they want to sell it, just go and they can FaceTime you while they walk through and around the property. They can take pictures of it or take video and email it or forward it to you, however they forward it to you. But stay on top of it in that manner so that you can stay working. We are talking about virtual wholesaling right now. It's been done.
Absolutely right. And thank you, because I was back in the past there for a moment. And that we are now in the present, which is virtual, pretty much everything. And also that's a great use of of being able to delegate time-wise.
Absolutely.
And so with that thought, let's take a break.
Do you need to sell your house? Well, our company will buy your house. We make the process very fast, very easy, and it's all cash. All you have to do is give us a call today.
We'll buy your house. Click 833willbuy.com. That's 833WELLBUY.com.
Or call 833-WILL-BUY.
Se habla español, llámanos, call us today.
Well, guess what? We're back. This is Real Estate 360, Steve Conley, #unemployable. And
this is Jason Myles, #the real estate trainer. But Steve, I just want to take a moment to thank our listeners and our viewers. Thank you so much, guys, for watching and listening to us on whatever platform you're using, whether it's our website, realestate360show.com, or YouTube, or iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, just iHeartRadio, wherever you're listening. Thank you, thank you, thank you, and continue to listen, subscribe, share. Just engage with us, as I always say. I just wanted to take a moment to thank everyone for doing that, especially in this time, because right now you could be doing anything. There's a lot of stuff on Netflix and Amazon Prime and Hulu and Epics and all these things that people, can fill their time up with. And I just want to thank you for taking the time to watch and or listen to Steve and I spew out all this great real estate magic dust.
Yeah, and you're getting this for free. People actually pay us, for consultations.
That's right.
Just, throwing that idea out there just in case. You said I'm a consummate salesman, so here I go again.
Hey, we've got all the commercials we need with you right there, brother.
Right?
I gotta ask you, Steve. I gotta ask you.
Yeah.
I'm seeing the blue dot. It looks like it says 1.50.
Oh, this?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, 1.5.
What
Honestly,
is that your reading glass prescription?
well, no, it's just a costume, if you will, a costume piece. I see very well close up. That is called myopic, which is nearsighted. So
Wow.
I see nearsighted means you see very well near, with things that are close to you. Now these are made for people who are nearsighted. I'm not nearsighted. This is just, for the fun of it. But it's also a reminder that if you get into watching Netflix and CNN and all this, your focus is going to get very narrow and nearsighted, and you're only going to be able to see, this little tiny segment of things that are in front of you, and most of it is not good if you're watching the CNN network or the news, really, of any kind.
Yeah.
I don't really watch the news, so I have these on so that as a reminder to say, stop, take these off, maybe things are brighter out there than they look like. So maybe you need to switch to some sunglasses. These are my Neo glasses, So when now I can get out there and fight the forces of evil, if you will, or dodge bullets. But at some point, you'll find out you don't actually need to dodge the bullets because you're Neo and you can just stop them. Right.
That's right.
But anyway, I didn't mean to get off on such a wild topic.
Hey, that's my thing too. I tell people that I use this Neo reference all the time.
Yeah.
And I use this clip in some of our education as well. But when I got this real estate, when it registered in my mind and I was like, I got it. We can do all these different things. We can look at a deal in 15 different ways all at once.
Yeah.
When I was able to do that and I recognized internally that I could do that, I literally felt like Neo in that scene where he realized he could stop bullets.
Well, okay.
When he stopped the bullets and he looked at the guys and then everything is just zeros and ones. That's how I feel with real estate about me.
And that's a pretty darn good representation of the way reality actually works.
Yeah.
Because it's all the law of attraction, and nothing can hurt us.
Yeah.
We are immortal, not these bodies really, but we don't have to draw this stuff to us by looking at it. And that's all I'm going to say about that, because this is a real estate show and we want to stay focused on that, right?
Well, that's right, Forrest Gump. That's all I got to say about that.
Stop it.
Life is like a box of chocolates. Anyway,
what does it mean to a lot of our listeners? All the stuff we've been talking about is that it basically means there's huge opportunities coming down the pike for you as a homeowner or an investor to buy something.
Absolutely, but we got to really focus right now on, I think, because we were talking about this with our producer in the break here, we really got to focus on the investor right now that is a buy and hold investor, because they're the ones that are really, really feeling it. They're going to really feel it. April 1st came around and there were a lot of people that didn't pay their rent, and because they just weren't able to pay their rent. This $1,200 stimulus check that people are going to be receiving in the next week or so, or however long it's going to really be, That's really not a lot. I mean, we live in, metropolitan Atlanta. In metropolitan Atlanta, it's $1,200 might be your rent, you know? Um,
2,000 might be your rent.
yeah. And I mean, $1,200 doesn't go far when you've got rent and utilities and food and maybe a car payment or at very least insurance, cell phone bill. There isn't going to be enough money to go around for a lot of these folks. So it's a very difficult thing because there's been a lot of chatter in our government and saying, okay, we can give the people relief. We already know that we have a statewide ban on evictions and foreclosures, right? So how is it that we navigate our way through this as a landlord? What are we doing? What do we need to do? What are we not doing? Because there are parts of the country right now, Steve, where they're still evicting. They're still going to go through their eviction processes.
Right.
And these folks that aren't working are obviously not going to be able to acquire housing because
Well,
they can't. Yeah, they can't. They can't prove
got an
employment.
eviction on their record.
Right.
That's
So it's not even just having the eviction, because this kind of eviction they'll be able to explain away for the most part.
Right.
But the problem is not having that job, not having that income, that employment. So you as a landlord, you need to keep your tenants. Okay. If it's not a matter of you putting them out. Don't do that. Right. Especially if you know they're paying. Talk to your lender and see what kind of relief your lender can offer you, so that you can in turn make it so that your good tenants can stay. Because once this is all over, and believe me, there is an end, it's just going to feel like it's a really, really long time, but it's not going to be that long. We have to start, we have to get back out there. But once this is all said and done, you're going to need that tenant. Now, whatever deal you make with them, whether you're doing, extending if this goes on for 2 months where they don't make a payment, and you're extending their lease for 2 months so you can catch that money up, or you're getting a little bit more every month as it moves forward. Maybe they're paying $800, now you're charging $900 for the duration of their time. Whatever it is you decide to do, make sure you waive the late fees. This isn't their fault. Talk to your lender, see what relief they can give you. It's not your fault. You're going to pay them though, whether they're giving you a forbearance where you make it all up on the back end of the loan, or you have to, make a lump sum payment as well. Whatever they do for you, you need to do the same thing for your tenants, but keep your tenant base. Do not be the landlord that's throwing people out. Their income is obviously affected. Your income is obviously affected. Everyone's income is affected. So just be a human, don't be a butthole, you know what I mean? Be a human, understand what's going on. If you've got a good tenant, allow them to stay there with certain criteria in place, with certain rules, new rules and regulations in place. But talk to your lender. It's very, very important that you talk to your lender.
That's great advice. And because the lenders are not really wanting to be in the real estate business.
No, they don't want to foreclose, really. They don't.
They really don't. They're not real estate investors. They're lenders.
Right.
They're money people. So yeah, and communication. You're absolutely right. Communication to those lenders is vitally important. And hey, they'll work with you. They will.
Yeah, because right now they can't sell it either.
They can't foreclose anyway. What else are they going to do? Or some of them.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's a tough situation, but it's a situation that can be handled with open lines of communication. You just find a way. There's always a way. Always a way. You just have to be creative and figure out what that is and what situation's working best for you as well as all others involved. It's got to be a win-win, otherwise it won't get done.
That's right. Exactly.
So, I got to tell you, Steve, this thing that we're going through, this whole coronavirus, what's happening to our national economy, the global economy, the things that we're short on, it's really shed quite a bit of light on what we need to do as individuals, right? Things that we really need to focus on. Because look at it, it's been a month, 1 month, and people are losing everything
Yeah.
because, we're all living too close to the financial edge, just overspending, having too much, over leveraged. And now that there's no money coming in, or very, very, very little money being circulated, it just says, hey, listen, financially, we have to change the way we look at life, the way we live life. Maybe I don't need to buy a Cadillac or a Mercedes. Maybe I should have the Nissan or the Honda, because it's going to get you there, right? Maybe it doesn't need to be brand new. Maybe it can be 2 or 3 years old, or longer. We just have to change our view of finances, our personal finances, so that we can weather these kinds of storms moving forward.
I totally agree. A 1990 Honda Accord will get you, there just as easily or quickly as a 2020 Cadillac Escalade.
That's right. And it'll cost you less, a lot less.
A lot less.
Hey, but let's take a break, Steve. Let's take a quick break and come back in our fourth segment.
Okay.
Hi, this is Sammy with Sammy Hadid Real Estate Keller Williams. Are you looking for a top producing agent who will look out for your best interests? Top dollar on the sale of your home, a well-negotiated contract, an efficient closing? Please call me at 305-978-4249. I'm more than happy to set up a consultation. I'll put together a proposal for you to net top dollar for your home, what it is that I'm doing to get all my homes sold. Then you can decide what's best for you. Again, I'll do whatever it takes to get your home sold for top dollar, and I promise you that I will protect your equity with my life. 305-978-4249. Sammy Hadid, Hadid.
All right, we are back. And as always, we are live on location in an actual piece of real estate. How about that?
Well,
How about that?
Really, 2 pieces of real estate.
That's right. Several
Yes.
this time. This is truly a multi-million-dollar shoot right now on location. Oh man, if you don't look at the bright side of things, man, if you can't laugh at yourself, what is there? You gotta laugh, man. This stuff is crazy.
This is really going to be a blast. I mean, let's look at it like that.
Yeah.
This is going to be the most fun thing that's ever happened. Well, okay, now I guess I need to temper that a little bit. Not to the folks who actually get the virus and suffer and die, but who knows? That might not be so bad. What's on the other side? Who's to say? The other side may be perfectly good.
And you know what? This is perfectly perfect. This is actually perfectly imperfect. A lot of us are always looking at just the immediate situation. What is this right now? And sometimes, obviously, you have to do that in certain circumstances. But we're real estate guys, right? We work with a commodity that will always be necessary in every way, shape, and form. So, since we all know that, you have to look at where do we go from here? Where can I take this from here? Again, if you are a multifamily or just a landlord in one way or another, be nice to your folks. If you're a wholesaler, lenders are still lending. Hard money lenders are still lending. Private money is still, listen, look at the really trillions of dollars that have been lost right now in the stock market. People have pulled their money out. It's sitting on the side. It's sitting there wanting to do something.
Half of it is.
Yeah, well, yeah. But it's sitting there wanting to do something. Not to mention, Steve, the $1 trillion a year that has to leave the stock market. The mandatory distributions that are made by the have to be made every year for the next, I think, 12, 15 years, something like that, in distributions, mandatory annual distributions. that they absolutely have to take out. So that money has to go back into the market somewhere. Real estate is it. Real estate is it. There are going to be a lot of people that are going to buy some stocks right now because there's a lot of great companies that are, you know,
Let's just say a
trading
lot
very,
cheaper,
very low. Yeah.
a lot cheaper than they were, 6 weeks ago.
Absolutely. But hey, listen, it's up to you as a real estate person to go find this money, right? Don't just wait for the money to come to you. Use this time again, as I mentioned earlier, to better yourself. Whatever it is you want to do, whatever business you want. You're sitting at home. They're not going to turn off your power. They're not going to turn off your internet. Get on there and start learning. Learn. Take this time to better yourself. Don't just, we laugh and giggle about Netflix and all these other things. There's a time and a place to watch that television, right? You got to have something to release. Maybe it's movie night with the family or whatever. But take an hour, just an hour a day, and better yourself. If you want to wholesale real estate now, or just do anything in real estate now, right now is the time for you to educate yourself and dedicate 10 hours easily a week to your personal improvement.
I totally agree. Absolutely. And, you can still take some action.
Absolutely.
Well.
Absolutely. As we talked about,
and follow that up with something, do it, try it, physically do it. That's how the Army teaches. They bring you into a classroom, they tell you what it is you're supposed to do. Then they take you out in the field and you go do it. And then they bring you back in the classroom and then you study what happened. And then they take you back out and you do it again. And that's the best way to learn this real estate.
I mean, that's the best way to learn anything. In fact, that's, when we're on the seminar circuit, that's how you teach people to teach people, right?
Yeah, right.
You say, hey, tell them what you're going to tell them, and then tell them what you told them.
Yeah, same thing.
It's the exact same thing, right? But I was saying that to say that's how people learn. That's how you learn. That's how you physically learn, how you train your body. That's how you mentally learn. That's how you emotionally learn. You have to do it. You have to get out there. But when we're doing it, we're constantly telling you guys the same things over and over and over. Not because we think you're less than, but because we know that it's repetition. It's repetition that makes things stick. It's repetition. It's just like when you're working out, they tell you, hey, just do something every day, body in motion, all that great stuff. Next thing you know, you lost 10 pounds,
May I tell you this latest property that I just put under, well, I'm about to put under contract.
So I love it.
Yeah. It's, this is somewhat before, kind of the lockdown. I was just looking around at stuff because, on Sundays, I like to go look at $10 million houses, $5 million houses, just to make sure I'm in the flow of abundance and see cool stuff and get out and meet people. That's really the reason I go. Is I end up meeting a lot of fantastic folks in the real estate business. And so as a result of that, this lady called me a couple of weeks ago and she said, hey, do you remember me? I said, no, who are you? And she said, you met me over at such and such an open house. I said, oh, cool. She said, hey, I got this property up on Lake Lanier it's not on the lake, but it's across the street as a view. I said, well, okay. I looked it up online. I looked at it and I said, wow, this is pretty good. And I said, what's this little side house that's next to it? She said, well, it comes with an apartment, a separate, completely separate building. It's connected with a little, walkway, kind of roofline walkway, covered walkway. And it's got a separate driveway. It's right next to each other. I said, what's the deal? She said, well, that's rented to the owner's father-in-law or mother-in-law or something, relatives.
Right.
And I said, and how much? $800 a month is coming in off of that. And just right there. And I said, well, what's the deal on this thing? Well, she said, well, it's in bankruptcy. And I said, okay. And right now, all the courts are shut down. But the contract that I was working on just fell through. I never really was able to get it under contract. They wouldn't come up enough. We're talking 265,000, for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath across the street from the lake, decent shape. I wouldn't say it's quite move in, but it's close. It's something that would be, most of the uglies already been knocked off, but we got to do a little shave and a haircut kind of thing.
Yeah.
Anyway,
What is it, like 350? It's got to have a solid value.
It's got to be at least 350. And now if you did it on an income basis, it's going to be more like 400. And I have it negotiated at 265 at the moment. But the best part of that is it's a really soft 265 is the way I'm looking at it.
Yeah.
Because it's got to go to the court system. It's got to get approved. Courts aren't even open right now. I'm just trying to put my hat in the ring, if you will. No one else is negotiating on this thing. Now, I did go up to their price, but I'm going to be renegotiating that when we get in front of the courts with, well, the driveway's all messed up and the floors are all kind of cracking and screwy and stuff, and the driveway, that's a real issue. I mean, it's a $5,000 or $7,000 driveway.
Wow.
The roof is not as new as it should be, stuff. I'm going to go in, I'm going to get it at the best price I can.
Yeah.
Because, hey, these people are in bankruptcy. They really don't care, it's about the creditors and the debtors at this point.
Yeah.
So my hat's in the ring.
And it's going to take a while. I mean, you've got to be there. The worst thing that can happen is they say, well, we're going to list it and see what the open market will bring us.
Well, it is listed.
Oh my God. What?
It is listed. I am the open market. I'm it. I'm that's all there is.
Drop the mic, Steve. Drop the mic.
Exactly. So I'm the only one there. I'm the only one, and that's the whole point of the conversation.
Yeah.
I'm the only one here doing this, and get your hat in the ring, do some stuff, make some offers. The contracts that we have all kinds of contingencies. And I asked the realtor, I said, look, I've got a clause written up for I call it the C-19 clause. So it's the coronavirus clause, I said, which means, hey, we're all going to work the best we can. Is what you're kind of saying with the tenants and the landlords and the lenders.
Mm-hmm.
Let's all work together at this. And that's what this clause says. We don't know what's going to happen in the future, but let's write this contract. Let's, get an understanding and let's move forward from there. And you can do that.
That's right. And I think the moral of the story here is, there's a lot of people that are telling people or telling themselves, oh, we can't make any money. There's nothing to do. We can't get out. We can't do this. What you've just described is how you're making money in this climate, in this economic climate, in this whatever is going on climate. You've just described how to virtually make $1 in real estate without even having to leave the house.
Almost. I'm setting myself up virtually to make money in the future.
Yeah, what you're doing
when we roll out of this thing, and we will roll out.
And you're making deals.
Yeah.
So listen, Steve. I want to just really tell people one more time, please, make sure that you go and download, subscribe the podcast, on whatever platforms you do. I want to thank everyone that has. Go to the website, see what we have coming up. We're going to have some really interesting things coming up in the very near future. That's realestate360show.com, and engage with us.
And listen, you're going to get out there and do stuff. You can't get hurt. Just be like Neo and learn that you can stop the bullets and live life fearlessly. Please.
Amen.
Amen.
See you later.